Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday. I know, it's Wednesday. Let me see. Everything seems to be off this morning. I don't know why. I've been up since I've been up early. So anyways, it's Self-Care Wednesday. So I have the Sacred Self-Care Rituals deck, because we haven't done that in a while. And I have the Stress Reduction Essentials, because we haven't done that in a while either. We'll start off with the morning mantras, and then I do have a topic for today, which may not be for everybody, so if you choose to stay, you choose to stay. If you don't, I totally understand. But good morning, Eileen. Good morning, Caroline. So let's start with the morning mantras for Self-Care Wednesday. Oh my God, when pigs fly. Look at that, when pigs fly. I hear the drama, I see the drama. I fire up my jetpack and blast away from the drama. You know, it was funny because there have been a bunch of memes this morning. So before I get into this, let me remember to say these things. Number one, I want to wish my nephew a happy 13th birthday, because I know his mama watches this sometimes. And I want to remind everybody that today is International Women's Day, but here in America, it is International Women's Month. Or not International Women's Month, it is Women's Month. So, ta-da! So anyways, again, I hear the drama, I see the drama, I fire up my jetpack and blast away from the drama. Yeah, we don't need to be involved in other people's drama. I know sometimes we get this hair up our butt that says, oh, but I need to help. I need to help them figure this out. You can't always do that. Sometimes people just have to figure out their crap for themselves. And is it hard? Yeah. I mean, you know, because we want to help. We want to be there for people. We want to show them, hey, you know what? There's a better way out there. But set boundaries, okay? If people are causing drama in your life, set the boundaries, because you don't need that kind of negativity in your life. Life is hard enough without having to deal with other people's dramas, right? So, and you know, I mean, it goes like this too. If you were the cause of the drama, maybe you need to step back and ask yourself why. What is causing this? What is hurting me inside that, you know, I'm causing it around everybody else? Not everybody who causes drama intends to. You know, sometimes it falls under the term hurt people. So hurt people. But, you know, when that happens, you have to start that healing journey and go deep and figure it out, you know. Ooh, okay. I was like, are any self-care cards going to come out? But there they are. Good morning, older sibling. All right. Let's give it one more shuffle and see what we got. Oh, there we go. Oh, didn't expect that one. All right, let's see, look. You are a goddess. I know it's backwards, but you are a goddess. You are a goddess. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's just give these a good shuffle. And what do we got for Self-Care Wednesday? Use your hands. Use your hands. You know, I have to tell you, a lot of people I follow on Twitter, some of them know artists, some of them are artists, and I have to tell you, that is one gift I always wished I had. You know, I mentioned before that I have these gifts, right? And older sibling and I tend to watch shows that kind of touch base on the gifts that I have. And there's one person, and, you know, she can draw what she sees, even if it's a face. And I'm just like, man, what a skill, right? I mean, I have to look at something, and I mean, I would wear in art class in senior year, I would rub the eraser down to the nub and on the pencil, and I was just, people that can do this are amazing. I mean, even in an art project I had to ask my friend to draw the face, because I was just like, I can't do this. I did get an A. I got an A, and I told my teacher, I said, are you okay? Are you feeling all right? Because I didn't deserve an A in this class. He's all, I don't grade on what you think your talent is. I grade on the effort. And so that was very nice. But it, you know, for all the talents I do have, that's one I really, really wish I had. Just the, you know, I can take photographs. You know, I have been given compliments from professional photographers on my photography, but painting, doing portraiture, the people that can work with paints and brushes, they're amazing. They're amazing. People that can create statues and pottery and all the things that we use. You know, the people that even just come up with the designs on these cups. You know, I mean, yeah, you might think, oh, okay, it's just, you know, cactus, but look at the colors. I mean, they're pleasing to the eye. This one was a gift for me because I got someone a cup from Disneyland, and I wasn't expecting one back, but they gave me one, so, you know, it was very sweet. And it's one of my faves. So, but just that, you know, or the people that come up with, just marketing designs. You know, if you have a talent, you know, let it shine. I mean, I have a sketch pad. I'm not very good at it, but sometimes I just, you know, I can see it in my head, but there's this weird disconnect between me and the paper. You know, it's like I can see myself drawing it in my head and then poof. And maybe it's me. Maybe I put the block on, but it really isn't one of my natural talents. So if you have that natural talent, kudos to you. But, you know, use your hands. And it doesn't have to be just that. You could be gardening. Maybe you can just doodle. That's what I use my sketch pad for. I just doodle. You can just draw lines. And with crayons and pens. And I love color. So, you know, I don't wear a lot of color, but, well, despite today. But I love colors. And, yeah, so, you know, when we use our hands, we get out of our mind. You know, so whether you're writing or you're drawing or you're painting or whatever it is you're doing, maybe photography, like I said, gardening, or, you know, even just, you know, whatever feels hands-on to you, you know, just go for it. You know, they have these places, right, where you can, I think I don't know what it's called, but those places where you can go and you pick out the pottery and you can color on it, and everybody, there's so many people that you see that I've never done this, but I've seen people doing it, and everything has to be so meticulous. You know, it's like, oh, it has to come out perfect. And then you see other people, they're just random. And to me, the more random things are amazing because, you know, they're just whatever's coming out of their head, and then it's going to be glazed onto this piece of pottery or whatever. And it's just, it's theirs to remember, hey, this is where my brain was at today or that day, or I wanted to be so different. And other people might look at it and go, what the hell? But, you know, I mean, there's this tiny little turtle. My mom had many hobbies. One of her little hobbies was painting when I was a kid. And there's this little turtle that I painted for my dad. You know, it was small, and I was a kid. Okay, I had to be like maybe 7 or 8 or 9, maybe 7 or 8. But you can see where I went out, where I painted outside the lines, where I did this, that, and the other. But my dad still has it on his desk. I saw it one day, and I'm like, oh my God, you still have the little turtle. And I'd given it to my dad years ago, and it was actually on his desk at work. So it's just, you know, it's not necessarily what we're thinking is perfection. It's just, it's what comes from the heart. Okay, so even if you can't draw, like you're like me, can't draw, but you love to have the sketch pad, you love to have the pencils and all this stuff, just put on there whatever your brain feels like creating, all right? I mean, look at some of the art out there. I sit there and think, wow, I could have done that. But the difference between me and that person is they had confidence in what they did. I'm sitting here going, no one will like this. They're like, I don't care. So, you know, they put it out there, they put a clever title on it, and bam, it's art. So let's see, grounding visualization. All right. This might be stepping out of the realm for some people, but, you know, she's got her crown chakra going there with a little rainbow above her head. But if you look at the card, this is exactly what it's talking about. All the different colors of the chakras, right? Grounding visualization. You don't necessarily have to sit on the ground. Sometimes it's helpful. You can sit in a chair and you can imagine these roots coming out of you, right? And it's a grounding tool, and it's connecting your energy with the earth. So if you want to sit on the earth, you know, by all means do it. But you can also, you know, sometimes when I'd be at work, I would just get a little flustered, and I would sit there and I would just imagine all these roots going through every single floor until bam, it hit the ground. And then I was like, whoa, you know, and it can help center us. It can help ground us. So grounding visualization, and you can, you know, you can visualize anything as long as it brings you joy. All right, as long as it brings you joy. Maybe you want to visualize something that you want. Maybe you just want to have yourself sitting in the middle of a calm field. When you're feeling that anxiety or that tension rising, ground yourself. Okay, and like I said, you can use the card as an example because it's simply just imagining all these little, energy roots just going into the ground and soaking up what Mother Earth has been trying to give us forever. Sing. I do this a lot at night. I will come upstairs, close my door, and just put on my headphones and sing like no one's listening, even though there are some people in the room across the hall, sibling, that does, and it's okay. So, I've actually gotten a little more confident about it because I love to sing. There are some songs in my playlist I probably have no business singing, but there's something very therapeutic about it. Just letting it all out, just letting this energy inside of us out through song. It's like when people let energy out through, being hands-on. Use your hands. Some people use their hands, some people use their voice. So it's kind of like the dance like no one's watching, sing like no one's listening. Get it out. When I put on music and I struggle with singing, I know there's some journaling that needs to be done. I know there's something in there trying to claw its way out, and I have to pay attention to that. So it's also one of my tells. Look to the stars. Look to the stars. Now, you can actually do this while doing your grounding visualization. Looking to the stars. Some people look to the stars in the forms of astrology. Some do it in, regards to astronomy. And some people just love to lay in the grass at night and go, wow, what is out there? Look how vast it is. But I think it also reminds us how small we are. And I don't mean our lives are small. Our lives are as big as we want them to be. But it's also showing us, I am this tiny little speck in this huge universe. But what am I doing with my life? Am I doing what I want to be doing? Am I holding myself back? Be a bright star. Shine your light. It says right here, take care of yourself so you can shine your soul's light. Take care of yourself so you can shine your soul's light. That's right in the cover of the box. Okay, right in the cover of the box. And, and look, it's surrounded by stars. So you know what? Sometimes we may feel small and insignificant amongst it, but we're not. We're on a big blue marble floating around the universe and taking our spins around the sun. So make it worth it. Do the things you wanted to do. Challenge yourself to do the things that you're not sure you can do, but would like to try. I knew I was not the greatest artist in the world, but in my senior year, I had a lot of room for electives, thanks to my mom, who made me take all the hard courses in the first 2.5 years of school. So I had a lot of electives, and I thought, well, I kind of suck at art, but, I want to do it anyway. And I spent the whole year in art, and, I still had fun. There were times when I was hard on myself. I did an abstract that won 3rd place in the art show and was displayed, and even my parents were proud. It was kind of like, ooh, it was very chaotic. It was a chaotic representation of our country, which ironically, that was 30 some odd years ago. It still fits today. So, whatever. Get a massage. We talk about self-care, right? Self-care is all kinds of things. It's physical and it's mental. And in this case, let's go with the physical. Get that massage. If you've never had one, oh my God, they are amazing. I've only had 2 in my life. I don't know why. I really need to go get more. But yeah, just pamper yourself. You deserve that. You deserve the pampering. It's okay. Maybe you have issues with people touching you. Okay, then this could be one of those, places where it's a safe environment. I'm sure some places will allow you to bring people with you, for your comfort. I'm not sure. You have to ask first. But it also puts you back in control. Yes, someone's giving you this, doing this massage service for you, but you have the choice. You know what? I've had enough. Thank you. I'm done. Or, they will ask you, they will guide you and say, hey, where do you need, where are you tense? It puts you back in control. And sometimes that's what we need. So, I never thought about that till right now when I said that. That could have actually been a very big thing on my healing journey, because you know, when I was in a very tense place, even siblings saying, do you need a hug? And she would come in to hug me, or she would just barely touch me to hug me, and I'd be like, don't touch me. But over time, I've gotten better at it. Over time, I realized I'm in control of that. And, you know, I am a hugger, which is ironic, but it had to be on my terms. So, you know, just control your narrative. You are in charge of your narrative. And you are in charge of what brings you comfort and what doesn't, and what can heal you and what needs to heal you. Okay? Connect with the moon. We had a full moon last night. I'm curious how many people actually connected with it. It was a great full moon last night. I don't know. I was talking to a friend about that this morning, and her and I were both like, man, you felt like a big magnet just pulling crap out of us. You know, just making things better. So, let's see. Let's do the self-care essentials. Let's see, stress reduction essentials. That's what it's called, stress reduction essentials. So I hope you got some stuff out of that. I mean, these are all great and wonderful ideas for self-care. You know, go do the Color Me Mine. You know, have a girls' day out, right? Go do Color Me Mine, and that's what it was called. It just flew out of my mouth. That's a place where you just you do the painting, they glaze it for you, and I think it's done in like a day or two. I don't know. Now, like I said, I've never been. It's always one of those things where I keep thinking, ooh, I want to go. And then nobody else wants to go with me, so I don't go. And then, well, let's see. Let's see what we can do for stress reduction. I already saw one come out, and I love it because it goes with the theme. It totally goes with what I was just talking about. There's another one. Ooh, they better be careful. I think that's a Disney word right there. Aw, Carolyn, thank you. See, she rocks. Now I bet Sibling is saying, hey, I'll go. There's actually one near my house, too, which is pretty awesome. Ooh, all right, there they are. You shuffle long enough, things finally start to come out. So let's see. Oh, we got a lot of them here. Gotta hurry, too, because I actually have a topic for today. All right, let's do these really quick. Number 1, lavender. Lavender speaks to the soul. It's an elegant fragrance that has been used since ancient times to aid relaxation and sleep, relieve stress and pain, and enhance beauty. The aroma alone has been known to promote calm, ease, and relaxation. Sometimes I use a watered down version for when I have like cuts or something, because I have kitties, but that's just it. If you're using this, and if you are a user of essential oils and stuff, please be careful around your pets, okay, with diffusers and all that other stuff, because it's not always safe for them. So, you know, you need to go through and do your homework on where to use this, how to use this. I use a lot of lavender, actual lavender plants, but boy, they smell delightful. They absolutely smell it. They're very calming. In fact, if you notice, like there's that detergent commercial where they have, or no, I think it's fabric softener, and they have like 5 different fabric softeners, and the one for calm is actually lavender. So, and again, lavender can actually help with pain. It can. So, and Lindt chocolate actually sells, well, I don't know if they still do, but I had one a while ago and it was really good. It was lavender chocolate. That's right, they put actual lavender in it. But again, just be careful around your pets, because pets don't always process things the way we do. And do not use essential oils. Do not ingest it unless it's actually made for that. I mean, don't just buy one off the shelf and say, oh, I'm going to mix this with water. Don't. Okay, you got to dilute it, you got to do all kinds of things, and I'm sure they make some that you can ingest, but most of them, no, it's going to make you sick just like it's going to make your pet sick, and I speak from experience, and fortunately, she's okay. So I had to learn the hard way, don't be me, okay, don't be me. So it could have gone sideways, and it could have been bad. So let's see. Ooh, I like this one. Connection. Connection is one of life's purposes. We search to connect with others, with our family, with our passion, with our calling, our surroundings, and to ourselves. When we successfully connect, we feel satisfied. Connection with ourselves is one of the highest callings. When we are connected to ourselves, we can be patient, give more, receive more, and love more. So yeah, connecting. I love the colors. See what I mean though? I mean, come on, any one of us can do this. And yet, a lot of us will say, no, I don't have that confidence. And yet look how pretty it is. Look how pretty it is. All those different colors. So, you know, connection is very powerful. And I think you can feel it, you know, when you just say you meet someone for the first time, you just start talking to them and they're just like, ooh, you know, and you just connect. You just know, you're like, hey, this is my new best friend, you know, and I've met people like that. I met somebody like that on my birthday and on my birthday celebration in San Diego. It's like, you know, it's like all of a sudden I have a new friend, you know, and it was great. It was wonderful. It was awesome. So, you know, laughter is so much fun. I have to tell you, I don't know how this thing got into my email, but I get these puns like every day. And if it makes me laugh out loud, I'll share it. Now, my dad and older sibling, not that big of fans of it. But I finally told them, I came clean and I said, you know, the reason I tell you guys these jokes is because your responses or the looks on your face when you guys look at me like, what is wrong with her? They make me laugh. So it's kind of it's a win-win for me, even if it's not a win-win for them. But I think sometimes they just start laughing because they're like, what is wrong with her? But, you know, but they love me, so whatever. But laughter. So laughter is fun. Sometimes older sibling and I'll just have the funniest conversations and we will just start just cracking up. And then there's times when I'm just sitting there and it just happens. Like I'll think of something, you know, just in my head and it'll start making me laugh and she's looking at me like, are you okay? And then it'll make me laugh more and then I can't stop. So, see, it's happened on the show where I just start laughing and I can't stop. But, okay, grounding. Dancing. Okay, so just like the singing, dance like no one's watching. Sissy Joe, when I worked with her, that's how we met. She used to close her door, turn up her music, and just dance like no one was watching. Now, the funny thing was, I'm like, why don't you just keep your door open? And she's like, no. And then she would lock the door too. And it was funny because you can always tell. I mean, you can hear the music go up. It's not like it was quiet or anything. And one time I snuck out and I was peeking through the window while she was dancing and all I hear is this, hey! And then after that, I felt bad because after that she would close the blinds too. And it's just like, I was just teasing. No one else is going to do this, but I'm like, come on. But I get it because I don't like people watching me dance because I like to dance. I like movement, but, yeah, I don't have that confidence yet. So Imagineering. This is the card I was talking about earlier. Imagineering, that's a total Disney thing, okay? But Imagineering is here we go. Imagineering is visualization coupled with pre-practicing high-frequency emotions. Practicing high-frequency emotions is the best way to pre-pave happiness and a more positive future. I totally don't get that, but I'm going to go in a different direction with this one. Just watch Disney stuff, all right? That's Imagineering at its finest. You know, there's a great story I was reading in this book that older sibling got me, and it was in regards to when they finally decided, because, you know, the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland was initially going to be a walkthrough. And then somebody decided, no, you know, we can make it a little bit longer and get people through faster if we just have these doom buggies that go through. Well, the Imagineers had been working on it. And they had this big room where they were working on motion activated stuff. And they decided one day, hey, if I remember the story correctly, because I know someone out there is going to be like, Shelly Marie, you got it all wrong. If I remember the story correctly, I think they wanted to see, I don't remember I'll be honest, I can't remember if they accidentally left this stuff on or if they left it on purpose, but the janitor came in. And boy, he got the walkthrough of his life. It was just, all I could think of was, oh my God, what would happen if, you know, you walk into a room and whether you're set up or not, or it's accidental or on purpose, and all this animatronic stuff starts going off. And it's intended to be somewhat scary, right? Because it's the Haunted Mansion. So it's like, to me, it's like tongue-in-cheek scary. But when I was a kid, like literally, I was 14 when I finally kept my eyes open. And now I have no shame about saying that. My mom loved walk-through haunted mazes. I hate them to this day. I did one on my 40th birthday weekend, and boy, I paid for it. Never again. Never. You know, which comes, you know, says a lot, right? Because I'm not going to lie. My house is pretty active. But, you know, you can take that as you want. It's not my imagination, but I promise you, my house is pretty active. But I'd rather walk through my house than where someone's intentionally trying to scare me. So, supportive family. Supportive family is a wonderful stress reduction essential. You know, I know not all family members understand what we're going through. I had a great talk with my dad the other day. I was just calling to thank him for being an awesome parent, you know. And he's still working on learning how to accept compliments. But I was just, you know, I just called him and said, hey, just wanted to thank you for being an awesome dad, you know, throughout my life. Thank you. It's like, I know we've had some big doozy arguments, but thank you. And, that's right. Older sibling's Uncle Gene, was one of the architects on the actual structure that you can see for the Haunted Mansion. So, you know, for a hot second, he was an Imagineer of sorts. He was a Disney employee. And, you know, that's pretty cool. I never got to meet him because he passed away when I was a year old, and I didn't meet older sibling until I was in my late 20s. She's my best friend. She's my soul sister, okay? I'm just going to say that. She's my soul sister, so. But I call her older sibling because it's a term of endearment. But, and because I have my cousin who's baby sibling. But most of the time I just call her sibling. So, and you know, we're both only children, but yeah, she just said, I wish my uncle could have heard that story. But it was funny. I was dying when I read it, and older siblings looking at me like, what's so funny over there? And I read her the story, and I'm like, she laughed because that's something she would do. I was like, it was like an appalled laughing, like, oh my God, who would do that? But it's hilarious. So, you know, anyways, but supportive family. So there you go. Sure, I have to adopt my siblings, but I get that support from family. I got that support. My dad said something very wonderful. I'll, you know, the context isn't important, but he said something that just struck home with me. The other day, I'm like, you know what? Thank you for getting it. Thank you for getting it. You know, because a lot of people don't. And it was just, you know, you go through all these things, and there's people who don't understand, who always don't understand those of us who have a dinged up mental health. But when they try, it means so much. But, you know, find the people in your life that are supportive, that do bring you joy, that don't sit there and judge you when you say something that came out of left field. But maybe they sit there and say, well, what can I do to help you through this? Or, hey, you know what? Here's my shoulder. Lean on it. Cry. Be sad. Be angry. Vent. Whatever you need to do. I'm here for you. Healing through art. So I'm going to put that with color therapy. Okay, healing through art and color therapy. During creativity, we come into flow. We connect with the moment, and all the rest floats out of our experience. Entering the moment and expressing one's inner self through art and creativity is an excellent way to enhance self-knowledge and self-expression. That's why I have a sketchbook. I actually have a box of crayons. That's right. You know, when you get older, you can buy all the crayons in the world that you want, and you don't even care if you break them. Although I have to tell you, I'm very careful to not break my knockwood. So, and I have color pencils. I have these pretty awesome markers, and they're amazing because they're a little glittery. And I have a whole little case over here with like watercolors. I have acrylics over there. Am I an artist? Not by some people's standards, but boy, I love color, like I said. And, you know, sometimes the doodles just come out of my head. You know, the little squiggles and lines and all that. But you know what? It can help because it gets us out of our head. And if you love it, hang it up. Who cares? Hang it up. You know, I mean, it's there for you to see. Who knows? Somebody might walk in and say, wow, that's amazing. Can you do something bigger? Sometimes it's just about throwing paint. I mean, come on, look at some of Jackson Pollock's work. Right? And no, I'm not making fun of it. It's just kind of like, because sometimes when I look at his work, I feel like, oh my God, this is exactly what my brain feels like. Depending on the day, you know. So, You know, sometimes it helps get stuff out. Some people don't like to journal. Some people will just throw paint on something or throw color on something. So healing through art can be an amazing thing. If you are an artist, it can help you. It can help get all that stuff out of your head. You know, maybe you have these horrible visions, or maybe this, you know, you see a certain situation in such an ugly way and you just put it on the canvas, you let it go, you know. And color therapy. Color therapy or chromotherapy uses colors and shades to bring balance and well-being. Each color has a unique light wavelength. Color therapy uses the energy of each shade to boost your mental and physical well-being. Colors can bring you into flow, boost creativity, and create a state of contentment and calm. Color is a powerful communication tool and can be used to signal action and influence mood. So my dad painted his room yellow. I know. And I'm telling you, the green in his living room looks like the Little Mermaid. But you know what? He says these are colors that they say are, you know, bring joy. I mean, down the hallway is like some kind of desert sunset or something. It's just dark red. Not dark red, but like an orangey red, like a sunset red. And I just... oh, I could say so many bad things that'll get me in trouble. One of the cultures I come from, which is basically half of me, is very known for mixing colors. And I just told my dad, I said, wow, I think you hung around mom too long. That was just a joke. Because I love my mom. But my mom, she loved to mix her colors. Whether they matched or not. She thought they did. And they probably did. But, you know, when you're a teenager, everything's judgy, right? I know. I kind of do it now. You know, I just, you know, be expressive. And I thought, you know, I can't be judgy and then, you know, live my life this way. So now it's like, you know what, you do you. You do you. But I like the colors too because they're very calming. And I didn't think about that. Or when I walk into the room to grab something for him from his room, it's just like, wow, it's so yellow in here, but it's like sunshine, you know. So it's actually very lovely. So I know some people may feel like, ooh, I'm being oppressed by colors. But if you really stop and soak it all in and how each room is so different from the other one, you really start to see the different moods of the house, the different feelings that you get in each room. So you know what? Kudos to him for color therapy. Oh, look, massage came up again. There you go. Get your massage. See, that's your sign. It came up twice. Now go do it. All right. So those are the cards for there, or for your self-help and self-care, not self-help, your self-care. I'm getting a little nervous because I'm not totally excited about this topic, but it's necessary because it's something I was going through yesterday, and it's something I deal with quite a bit. I'm going to talk about emotional eating. Now, I read an article that says emotional eating is not a disorder, but it went to explain how it can be. So if you don't have a therapist, or you are just kind of, you know, winging this on your own, that whole article could be confusing. So I decided to bypass it because I thought, because of articles like that, I thought that emotional eating wasn't a disorder. I thought it was all in my head. I thought maybe I made up the term, but it turns out I am amongst many who do this. Now, to me, there's a difference between emotional eating and comfort food, because in that article, it says emotional eating, everybody emotionally eats, you know, but if it's a constant, or if it happens often, it can lead to other eating disorders. Now, the person that diagnosed me with emotional eating was my therapist, and she worked with, she was a therapist that specialized in childhood trauma and in eating disorders. So, you know, I got a 2-for-1 because I went to her for one thing and I got help with the other thing too. And so, it's something I still do though. And you know, it takes work. It takes work. Now, this is all my perspective. I just want to say this. This is just my perspective. But this is my perspective from my experience. Not an article that may or may not have been from their experience, or may just be coming from a medical place or whatnot. But this has been my experience. To me, a common person, and I don't mean, you know, we're, as far as I'm concerned, whether we have a dinged up health or not, mental health or not, we're all normal. We're just normal in our own ways, you know, and that's what makes us all unique. But when I say common people, I mean just the regular Joe Blows that don't have a dinged up mental health. To me, when they emotionally eat, to me it's just comfort food. You know, they had a bad day at work, or maybe, you know, they might go out for a drink for the first time in a month, you know, because they had a bad day. That doesn't make them an alcoholic. No, it just means, hey, I had a bad day. You know what? I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to do this. Or, you know what? Today was a bad day, so I'm going to go to, I don't know, Carl's Jr. or something and have the biggest hamburger and the biggest fries and the biggest drink. And I'm going to throw in a chocolate shake just in case. That's comfort food. And then the next day they're back on track. They're just like, okay. Or they're not feeling well because they may not eat like that all the time. But to me, emotional eating, which again, my therapist diagnosed me with, not leading into other eating disorders. Because she asked me that. She's all, do you do this? I'm like, no. Do you do this? I'm like, no. You know, and she's all, okay. She's all, well, okay, you know, you're an emotional eater and this, that, and the other. There's a cycle that goes with emotional eating. You know, more than just comfort food. If you have a bad day, you have a bad day. But with an emotional eater, you know, and I wrote down the cycles. These are all the things I've been through. Something happens that upsets you or triggers you, depending on, you know, what it is. It may not just be something that upsets you. It could be something that triggers you. So, number 2, you feel an overwhelming urge to eat. Even if you're not hungry. You might feel like, because this hole inside of you has gone from this tiny little hole to because of whatever triggered you. It's like a black hole just opened inside of your body instead of space. Number 3, you eat more than you know you should, or perhaps even partake in what you would deem forbidden foods. I've said it before in my other perspectives. I'll say it again. My doctor actually banned me. And she made me promise, because she knows I don't break promises. She made me promise that I would never diet again. And I've kind of fallen almost in those traps. But there's a difference between dieting and a lifestyle change. Dieting is a quick fix. And for some people, it works. To me, common people, it works. But when we get into this diet mentality, for people like me who have emotional eating problems or who have eating problem, period, it's a trap. Just like Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. And from Star Wars, just in case you're wondering. But it really is a trap. And it's not for... I'm just not a fan of dieting, period. Even if you only have to lose 5 pounds. You know, like starving yourself is just not good for your body. But for people like me, it's a hamster wheel. You know, it's that hamster on the wheel that can't seem to get off. So, you know, you eat these forbidden foods. You say, no, I can't have this. I don't want this. You know, I did a lot of work. So I'm not, well, let me put it this way. In honor of my mother, I do Lent every year. Okay. And, I always do that for my mom. Like I said, I still hear her in my head going, what are you going to give up? So I gave up 2 of my fast food places, but I made it a point to have them both before I gave them up. And I made it a point to be very conscious about, very mindful about eating these 2 things before I gave it up, because I didn't want it to feel like it was going to be, you know, me making it a forbidden food. I thought, no, you know what? I go to these places too much anyways. I really need to get into the habit of not making them my emotional eating source. And so I had them. I had exactly what I wanted. I let older sibling know what I was doing, so she didn't say, hey, you said you weren't going to do it, because you know what? I had to. And I have not craved either one since. And I think we're on day 15 of Lent now. You know, last night I did have McDonald's. And I told baby sibling, because of something which I will get to in a moment that happened in the morning that kind of triggered me. And I said, yeah, I didn't know. I think I emotionally ate. She's, well, what do you mean you think you did? And I'm all like, well, I've been craving this for a month, but I acted on it today. And she's like, well, if you've been craving it for a month, then it wasn't. And I agree, because this morning, I'm not feeling it. I'm just kind of like, yeah, it was yesterday. And that's progress for someone like me. That's progress for me as an emotional leader. But, so number 4, you feel guilty and powerless over food. I have. There have been times when I have given up things and I've replaced it with something else. Like, maybe I'll give up, we'll just use it as an example. I'll give up the burgers and the fries. And the next thing I know, I'm just plowing my way through a stack of cookies. That's just replacing one addiction for another. And that's no bueno. So number 5, you eat some more and feed those feelings. Number 6, repeat step 4. You feel guilty and powerless over food again. Number 7, repeat cycle starting at step 2. So again, step number 1, something triggers or upsets you. Number 2, you feel an overwhelming urge to eat. Number 3, you eat more than you know you should, or perhaps even partake in what you deem forbidden foods. Number 4, you feel guilty and powerless over food. Number 5, you eat some more and feed those feelings. And number 6, repeat number 4. After you feed those feelings, you're feeling guilty and powerless again over the food. And number 7, the cycle starts all over until somehow you get to this point where either someone stops you or you step on the scale and you're like, oh my God. But then that's the other problem. You step on the scale and go like, oh my God, what happened? And then you go into diet mentality. It's like, I got to lose all this weight. And then you freak yourself out more. I didn't get to be this weight for no reason. I was powerless over food. I truly was powerless over food. And when I felt guilty about that, I ate some more. Then I would try to diet. I lose weight, but then I gain back what I lost plus some. I did a program 9 years ago. And it was shakes and soups and little snack bars for X amount of months, and you drop weight rapidly. But as I mentioned before in the perspective, they spent one class and 1 hour of like a 2-hour class talking about emotionally eating. Now, for the common people in the room, oh, okay, I get it. Got to watch the comfort food. For people like me in the room, and a couple other people I know, we all gained our weight back, plus some. I gained back my weight times 2. But I used it to my advantage this time. I chose to look at the number on the scale and say, hey, you know what? You're still amazing. You're still enough. You're still a wonderful human being. Because if I didn't, I would still be wrapped up in my head thinking I'm unworthy, I'm unlovable, I'm, undeserving. And to be honest with you, those are thoughts as of right now. Because I'm seeing it. As I'm talking to you, I'm realizing it and I'm seeing it. The outside of me has changed, but the inside of me is still the same. It's healing, and it's becoming more aware, and it's becoming more, so maybe I'm not the same on the inside either. Because I'm growing, I'm learning. I came up with a phrase during that time that says you gotta, feed or feel the emotions, don't feed the emotions. So that being said, yesterday I had a wild trigger. I don't know what it was. I don't know why. Maybe I do. I don't know. I have to journal it out today. I procrastinated on journaling yesterday on purpose because I don't think there were things I was ready to deal with. But whatever it was, it was probably a trigger from the weekend. It was the anniversary of when I broke up with the last person I dated, and it was so long ago. I think it's just finally affected me and made me think, God, why do people see me as being so unlovable? I mean, my friends love me. Why can't somebody else love me? But, it was a whole thing. And I had to take my friend to the airport, and all the way to her house, I was crying. And then the first thing that happened when I started feeling these emotions is I wanted to eat. And I thought, oh, Lord. I mean, I had no idea why I was crying. I just came up and out. And the first thing I wanted to do was eat. So even though I was crying on my way to her house, I was thinking, you know what? What is causing this? And so I sat with it. That's what mindfulness is. Mindfulness and meditation are two very different things. Meditation is kind of zenning out, right? You're just like, whoo, and you clear your mind and you just sit with yourself. Mindfulness is sitting in the feeling. It's being present in whatever it is you're feeling. It's being present in the emotion. And interestingly enough, as I sat with it, it started to go away. That big black hole of wanting to eat, that was yelling, "Feed me, Shelley." You know, like the Audrey too, right? In Little Shop of Horrors, "Feed me." It was closing. It was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But you could also see why last night with my choice of dinner, why I wasn't sure if it was emotional eating or not. But I ate a regular lunch. So when I went back and thought about what baby sibling had said, I thought, you know what? She's right. It wasn't emotional eating. I was just feeding a craving. And I can honestly say that she's not wrong, because today I'm not craving that anymore. I have no desire for it today. You know, and I do have a protein shake in the morning, but only because I don't really eat breakfast on the weekdays. So I like to have something so I'm not starving by lunchtime. But that's my choice. It's not something to lose weight. It's just something because I know it has the nutrients and everything I need. And I actually found that it helps me, you know, because it does kind of kill that sweet tooth vibe. So, so for me, that works for me. But I had a regular lunch yesterday, and yeah, you know, I did have a Shamrock Shake and a McFlurry. And I decided that I was not going to have any shame about it. You know, it was stuff I was craving. The McFlurry was it was like part of the deal, and I'm just like, okay, you know, and you're probably saying, well, you're complaining about your weight. No, I'm not complaining about my weight anymore. I've decided right now in this moment that I'm not going to do that, because I find that when I'm not complaining about my weight and I just love myself the way I should be loved, I actually lose weight. I know. And I think what it's trying to teach me is that I hated myself. I hated my body when I was, 120 pounds, when I was 115 pounds. I had trauma. So I thought my body was just, a vessel of shame and guilt and pain. And I hated it. And I always tell older siblings sometimes, I said, the ironic thing is I had to gain all this weight to learn how to love myself. I know. And I don't know, you're literally watching me having epiphanies right now. Like major epiphanies. But I wanted to talk about emotional eating today because I know how alone some people can feel in it. I know how I sat in that class when that one class for that very short amount of time talked about emotional eating, and all I could think of was, why is there not, a couple classes dedicated to this? Because I have to tell you, I think the majority of the people that were in that class probably were emotional eaters. Maybe they didn't know it because somebody out there is saying, well, it's not really a problem, but it can lead to a problem. No, it is a problem. There are people out there that are hurting. There are people out there with a dinged up mental health. There are people out there with traumas that feed their pain. It fills a void. There's this part of you that feels so unlovable, and you taste this wonderful stuff, and it sets all these little sensors off in your head that go, oh, I'm loved. I'm so loved. And that doesn't mean you can't have some of these wonderful things. When I was a kid, going to fast food was a treat. Now it's like you grow up, you become an adult, you get your own job, you have your own money coming in, and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, I have free reign. But that's not the way to do it. Especially if you struggle with a lot of different things, especially if you're feeding your pain instead of feeling your pain. It's easy to feed it. It's not easy to feel it. Because feeling it means you have to face things. Feeling it means that you have to look at whatever your demon is straight in the eye and say, you know what, I'm going to win this. And sometimes it's easier to just turn your back and have a Big Mac. I don't like Big Macs. I like the nuggets. But, sorry. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's what it is. It's turning our back on what we know we need to face, because it is scary. And it is hard. Healing hurts. Healing is, I'm going to say it, it's fucking painful. It sucks. It sucks in every way. But it's the one thing I would tell everybody to do. Yeah, it's going to hurt. Yeah, you're going to have to face things that you probably haven't faced in a long time. Yeah, it might set off a lot of triggers and alarms and sensors and everything in your head. But when you come out the other side, when you come out of it on the other side, it's a feeling that it's like euphoria. Because you're like, whoa, I feel lighter. I feel so light. I feel like I might float away. Because I'm not carrying all this baggage. I'm not carrying all these secrets. I'm not carrying all this pain anymore. You know, are the memories still there? Yeah. Do I deal with them better? Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. And as I talk to you, maybe that's why I was supposed to talk about emotional eating today, because I'm starting to see where I have not been, I don't want to say failing myself, because I feel like failing ourselves can just set us back into step number 1. Something triggers you. You know, people feel like they've failed. We didn't fail. We just realized that this isn't the way, this isn't working. So we got to find something new. My number 1 request from you is to just not give up on yourself. You know, I have emotionally eaten to the point where I've made myself sick. And this was only in the last 6 months. You know, a couple months ago, I went to my favorite place that's currently on the no-fly zone list because, you know, I gave it up. I gave it up in a healthy way. I gave it up doing all the mental work I had to do to give it up. And I ate everything. I got my favorite thing I wanted, plus I got some other things I probably didn't need, plus I got another thing or 2 things I didn't need, plus I got like a large order of fries, you know, and halfway through it I'm like, oh my God, I'm full. But then I thought, well, I have to eat all this because, you know, I have to clean my plate. And I'm not sure why that trigger came up, because I'm 50 years old. That was when I was a kid. I'm not a kid anymore, but it did come up. And then I sat there and I thought, well, maybe I'll save it for later. No. If I just eat it now, I don't have to worry about it later. All these different thoughts came through my head, so I ate it all. You know, and like I said, halfway through, I was done. But I ate it all. And I just felt so gross for the rest of the day. And I triggered myself, and I put myself back in that cycle. Oh, I failed myself again. Oh, I didn't do right by myself again. Instead of just acknowledging I made a mistake and ordered too much. You know, but that's okay. I didn't fail myself. I just made a mistake, and mistakes can be corrected. But failure is like, the word fail is like the worst 4-letter word ever. I know, there are other F-bombs out there, but to me it's the worst one ever, because we're conditioned to see it as being something so horrible, so awful, so icky, so gross, that when we hear it, it's like setting off all these alarms, you know, all these terrible big siren red alarms going off in our head going, you're a loser, you're a loser, you're a loser, because you failed. But I like to look at it as, I made a mistake. And can I correct this mistake? Yes, I can. Do I need to get back into a place where maybe I don't turn to this anymore? I started turning to this place the summer my mom was dying, which is also the same time I was doing that program. So yeah, I started cheating on it. And but for some reason it's kept cycling. So on a day when I was kind of having a mom moment, I went there, and I've never told anybody this. I went there and I said to myself, okay, let's have this again. But I corrected my behavior. And this was actually right before Lent. That last time I had it, that's what I did to work through it mindfully. I said to myself, did it bring her back? Did it heal her? No, it didn't. But boy, it tasted great. And it really was delicious. I made myself sit there and think about every bite. I made myself slow down to eat. And maybe that's why, you know, older sibling and I are always trying to figure out where this whole I gotta eat, like I'm in some kind of marathon or some kind of sprint, I should say. And I don't know why I eat so fast, but maybe that was it. Because when you're an emotional eater, you're already ashamed of what's sitting in front of you, so the faster you eat it, the quicker it's gone. You know, so you don't have to feel guilty about it. But all the wrappers are there. All the containers are still there. And, you know, there's still reminders. But I mindfully had that burrito. Oh man, I know, I love that burrito. But I also found out the history of that burrito and why it's called that. But no, I mindfully ate it, and I thought, is this bringing mom back? No. Are you enjoying it? Yeah. And I learned how to separate those two feelings. And for me, I think that was the biggest thing. I think that's why I was able to let it go. Why I haven't craved it since that day. And it's because I removed the emotion from it. Is it always that easy? No, come on. When my therapist diagnosed me 6 years ago. Okay. 6 years ago. And I'm still struggling with it, but I'm getting better at it because I'm not shaming myself anymore. If you have a lapse where you're emotionally eating, be mindful about it. Sit with it. You know, if you're full, throw it away. And I don't mean just wrap it up and put it in the thing. No, pick it up. If you have to, throw it out in the bin. Walk outside and throw it in the bin. You know, pour water on it or something. You know, something, just ruin it so that you don't dig it out of the trash either. You know, but just get rid of it. And tell yourself, hey, you know what? I fed my hunger, but I'm not going to feed my emotion. I'm going to sit with it and try to understand where this emotion's coming from. All right, so 2 of the other notes I had. People who are dieting, have restrictive diets or a history of dieting are more likely to emotionally eat. That was me. Having big emotions or big feelings can be the main contributor if you don't know how to deal with these feelings. Stress, worry, finances, relationships, trauma. There's so many reasons why people could emotionally eat, or the common people, comfort food. All right. We have to ask ourselves when because we do have cravings, and that's understandable. And not every craving is an emotional eating craving. So we have to ask ourselves, is this emotional? And if it is, but you're still craving it, remove the emotion from it. Hey, I need to eat lunch, or I need to eat dinner, and maybe I'm too mentally tired today to cook, so I'm going to go out. But even my cardiologist says, you don't have to make it supersized. You can make it small, and you're still going to get the same satisfaction from it. He says it's all about portion control, and it really is. And that's where emotional eaters struggle with, is portion control. It's like, no, it's not enough. I need more, I need more, I need more. That this hole inside of me is not going to close unless I feed it. But the hole inside of you is the emotion. And we have to figure out what it is that's causing that black hole of emotion that's just sucking everything into it without any cares in the world. Right? So, emotional eating can come on suddenly, or it is triggered. And you don't feel, so these are the things that happens. You don't feel full, and you want to keep eating until you feel this is what I was talking about earlier. You don't feel full, and you want to keep eating until you feel so gross, you feel like you might pop. And even then, some people don't stop. They will finish everything in front of them. Everything they think will bring them comfort, but instead brings them more sad feelings and more than likely guilt over losing control. Which, again, see step 2. You feel an overwhelming urge to eat. And then step 3, you eat more than you should, or perhaps even partake in what you deem forbidden foods. And the cycle goes over and over and over again until you choose to jump off that hamster wheel and say, I've had enough. And if you need help with that, if you need professional help with that, there are people out there. There are dietitians. Now, not dietitians like, hey, let me put you on a diet. Dietitians that are, do nutritionists. I think that's what they're called now, nutritionists. I saw a weight loss commercial the other day that drove me nuts. Yeah, I lost X amount of pounds and I got my smile back. That was a trigger for me. Or that, actually not a trigger, that was a red flag for me. Because I'm thinking, if that's me saying that, that means that I'm not healing what's inside and making me eat. I'm just healing the outside, which means I'm probably going to relapse and gain all that weight back again. You rarely see these commercials when it's not a celebrity being paid to do these things and probably being given free product. You rarely see these people in return commercials. That says something. Now, that doesn't mean that the girl didn't get her smile back and blah, blah, blah. But we put so much as a society on our outer appearance that we don't focus on what the person's dealing with on the inside. And that's the biggest part. For an emotional eater, not a person who does comfort food, but for an emotional eater, it's what's happening in here that causes this out here. And if you can't learn how to find your smile in the body that you're in now, you have a 50-50 chance of making that work. You know, I mean, when you lose weight and people say, oh, you look great. I mean, a lot of times I don't think they mean it in any other way than, wow, I know you've struggled. Good for you. But you start noticing that people start paying attention. You start noticing that people are seeing you. And it's very possible that it's not because you've just lost the weight, but you're exuding this positivity. Look at all the people who are a plus size, who attract people, because it's their positivity, because they see themselves, they love themselves, they have that self-love, they practice that self-care. You know? And when I see commercials like that, I just sit there and go, are you joking me? You are sending the wrong message. Oh, I lost weight, so I got my smile back. And that's a personal story. But somebody's going to look at it and say, oh, if I lose weight, I'll get my smile back. They're not going to do the work they need to do on themselves to bring their smile back before that. There's a great meme that I found somewhere, and I'll see if I can find it in my pictures because I'm pretty sure I saved it. And they have this one girl in this one panel, in the first panel, and she's plus size, and she's looking in the mirror, and she's saying, if I lose weight, I'll feel better about myself. In the next panel, she's smaller. But what she says is, nope, that wasn't it. So she lost the weight, but she still wasn't happy. She still wasn't happy. And that's where a lot of us are. That's where a lot of us sit. We lose the weight, and that's where I was. You know, I lost weight for my mom. She asked me, she's all, Shell, do it now while they have this opening. While they have this slot in there, go do it. You know, and I did. And because I was doing it for her. So I wasn't getting everything I needed out of it. I wasn't doing the heavy mental lifting that I needed to do because I am an emotional eater. And I've spent the last 4 years after gaining all this weight back, plus a lot, shaming myself, not seeing myself, looking at myself in the mirror and going, ugh, who's going to want you? Instead of saying, whoever gets me, they're going to be lucky. You know? And that's not to toot my own horn, but we have to make ourselves feel good about ourselves so that we can exude that positive energy, so that we can exude that joy, that loveliness, you know, so we can get past people's superficial vision of what we should look like and help them see who we are on the inside. And I've been told before, Shelly, whoever ends up with you at any size I've been at, they're going to be one lucky guy. And I would like to think that too. And I'd also like to think that I would be a lucky girl to have whoever that person is. Because you know what? When you have honest communication, when you have mutual respect for one another, that's where it all is. You know, and who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe I'll meet somebody and they'll be like, hey, you know what? You talk about doing this. Oh, just like in that movie, Why Did I Get Married? Right? I love that movie. Tyler Perry movie. And this girl, her husband's like a total dick, right? He ends up leaving her because she's plus size, this, that, and the other. And she ends up falling in love with the town sheriff. I know, spoiler alert, but this movie's so old that if you haven't seen it now, that's your own problem. But, but he sees her. He sees her. And he's this fit guy, but he sees her. He doesn't care about all this. He sees her and he falls in love with her. And they start walking together. And he helps her. He says, look, you know what? If you don't like the way you look, do something about it. But he had already told her. I mean, he had just kissed her and loved her and everything and all this stuff. And then he's just like, but she was complaining. Oh no, because I'm like this and you're like that. And he's all like, look, if you don't like the way you look, do something about it. But he was letting her know, I see you. I see you regardless of what you think. You know? And yeah, it's a movie. But I know there's people out there. I know there's people out there. And, you know, even baby sibling told me, she's, oh, whoever you meet, you know, they're going to help you on your journey. They're going to become a part of your journey. And that would be great too. You know? And I think it's also a confidence booster because you realize, wow, I've learned how to love myself enough that somebody else cares and loves about me now. And now they're going to help me further on this journey. They're going to give me that motivation on those days when I can't give it to myself. They're going to say, hey, you know what? I see you. You got to do what's best for you. But I just want you to know, I see you. I'm over here. And if you need me, hey, just let me know. All right? So, I got a lot of opinions today, don't I? I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. All right? Thank you. I want to thank everybody watching, whether it's now or later, because I was nervous about doing this. I could feel it. I was just avoiding everything this morning. I haven't even journaled yet. But the reason I'm thanking everyone is because I just, you know, I get feedback from people that watch this show later and say, wow, thank you for continuing doing this, that, and the other. I really got a lot out of your message today. And it's not to toot my own horn. What it is to me is that by doing this, I'm very honest about how a lot of times I'm just going through this with everybody else. Like with the self-awareness deck. You know, I haven't seen these cards. And if I have, or I shuffle them, you know, well, in this case, I haven't seen all these cards. I'm going through it with you. When I come up with a topic, I'm going through it with you. And I just had like 3 or 4 epiphanies right now about my mental status and emotional eating. And it's just like, wow. And I wrote notes last night. But as I'm talking and I'm saying this to other people, hey, you know what? See yourselves. There's something clicking in my head saying, practice what you preach, girl. Practice what you preach. You can't sit there and tell everybody that this is going to help your life, but then you just walk away and don't do it. So practice what you preach. And I saw that and I heard it, and I heard the things coming out of my mouth, and I heard the things that, you know, came out of my mouth about me that I didn't even realize I felt. These little unconscious thoughts that were like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really do have this in me. I really do feel all this inside of me. And it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling knowing that all the hard work you put in is finally starting to show. Okay, so be kind to yourselves. Give yourself compassion. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself a lot of patience, because it's going to take a lot of patience on a healing journey. And that doesn't mean that, you know, I'm telling you to go out there and lose weight. You do you. You do you. However you find yourself beautiful, do it. I'm on a health journey and a healing journey because I got to make sure that I can live a long, long time because of my heart. You know, my heart runs fine, right? But we always see that. We don't want to push that envelope and see how far you can push it. So I just want to make sure that it continues to be fine. I want to make sure that, you know, everything inside of me continues to be okay. So, you know, I have a little bit more, you know, I have that issue. Not everybody has that issue. And mine was congenital, so it was something I was born with. But like I said, this is how it's been my whole life. You know, but when I was younger, my mom controlled my eating. You know, because she knew. She took care of my heart. And then when I was let out on my own, boy, I went wild. I went crazy. But I didn't do it with alcohol or drugs. I did it with food. Because I was feeding pain. And now I'm not laughing because of that. But I'm laughing because there's kind of this elation that's happening inside of me that, like, wow, it's blowing my mind right now. You know, that I am in control. I have the power. And that's what I want for all of you. So if you need to get the professional help, get it. You know, nobody has to know if it's a stigma for you. But I'm here to end the stigma of mental health. I'm here to end the stigma of, you know, people feeling bad about themselves because of having a dinged up mental health. Or, you know, common people having, you know, these comfort food moments and then feeling bad about it later. Because, yeah, even if they don't struggle with their weight, they might feel bad about it. Like, oh my God, I shouldn't have had that. And that can lead to bad, you know, habits as well. So, and you don't have to have a dinged up mental health to do that. You could have a diet mentality. You know, you could have a conditioned by society and how we should look mentality. All right. So again, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so, so much for hanging in there with me. This was a bit of a long one, but I guess I had a lot to say. So anyways, please take care of yourselves. Again, it's Self-Care Wednesday. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody. I'll be back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. Facebook Live under Shelley Marie Lucas. All lives are public. Anybody can watch. You don't have to be my friend to watch it. I also upload it and share it to my Facebook page, The Aloha Perspective, and upload it to YouTube under The Aloha Perspective. And then I share it to various social medias that allow for videos this long. So again, have a great, great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for Things to Think on Thursday. Have a wonderful day.